Welcome back to Wake Up World. If you love your bingo as much as James does...
It's true.
then you probably attended one of these nights.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Tranny Bingo! What a rousing reception. I'm aroused for your reception tonight. It's always a pleasure to be your bingo hostess, here with the mostess and slightly more than a few of you bargained for.
Now, these bingo nights happen all the time right around Australia. For most of us, it's a good excuse to get together midweek, but there are some people who are upset about the use of the word tranny in Tranny Bingo, as they believe it incites hateful behaviour. With us now, self-professed transgender warrior, Indiana Edwards. Thank you for joining us. And Tranny Bingo host, Penny Tration. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's a good chat to have, and it's worth finding out why this is important to you guys. Indiana, we'll start with you, of course. Why is the word tranny offensive to the transgender community?
Basically, it's a trigger word for us. A lot of people, including myself and many friends, have been on the other end of violence, and usually the last thing we hear is, before we're bashed, is the word tranny or she-male or something like that. So, yeah, it's a very triggery thing for us, and we're trying to educate cisgender society. Cisgender just means you're not trans. That these words are not acceptable to us. Like, we prefer trans or transgender or just normal pronouns like, male and female, depending on,
Does it matter, most importantly, about the intention when you use that word?
Yes.
If you are saying it just, in a friendly manner, not inciting any type of discrimination or hatred, is that okay?
It depends. If you're a person of colour and a white person comes up to you and says the N-word, it's not acceptable. But if, your friends, you're together and calling each other those pronouns, it's okay, it's acceptable. So it's about privilege and, what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. And trans people have gotten a lot of visibility over the last few years or the last 10 years. And it's a conversation that we need to have now.
Now, Penny, for you participate, you run a night called Tranny Bingo. For you, what's the connotation to the word tranny?
Well, I guess for the girls that work for me and the girls that have worked for me, and I've employed around 20 drag queens. Some of them are drag queens. Some of them would identify as a tranny. One of them had started transitioning. We feel that we come under the umbrella term of tranny as well, tranny being short for transvestite. And Indiana, I certainly, in any state directed to anyone, would never say that violence is appropriate. And I know the issues that not only your community but the community we all come under, the gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual, intersex community face with violence. It's never acceptable. But I also have a lot of people that do identify as being a tranny, post-operative transsexual, calling me and saying, please fight for the word. This has become bigger than just bingo. Please fight for the word. It's a word that I use. It's a word I identify with. And, I think if we said you can't say tranny, we say you can't say faggot and you can't say poofter, but boys, gay men and women are still bashed. We're trying to reclaim that word and take the negativity out of it and say, being tranny is fantastic. One of my girls says, oh, you look tranny-licious tonight. It's the most amazing compliment she could give.
So, Penny, is this about, getting that balance between being understanding and going too far with being politically correct and the fact that you're using it actually to try and break down barriers?
Yeah, look, I think so. I am concerned about the over-policing of language. I don't want to live in a culture where we can't walk into a shop and say, can I have a black coffee, because it may be racially offensive. And yes, it is a little bit about the over-policing. And I do feel that, I don't work in gay clubs with Tranny Bingo. I work in 6 straight clubs. I've taken Tranny Bingo onto P&O. And P&O is very rough. And people that would not get to interact with Indiana or myself on a daily basis, ever. And they'll come up after and say, I never met one of you before, but you're all right.
So breaking down barriers.
Definitely. And censorship is not education, and censorship is not going to break those barriers down.
Is it hard for you, Indiana, to sort of make that delineation between something that's used as fun and helps to break down barriers and the triggers that you hear when you hear that word?
It is. And a lot of people who follow me agree with what I'm saying, and I understand there's two sides to the argument. But to draw a comparison, in the NRL recently there was a bit of a hiccup with some gay slurs. I think it was gay and fag and something like that. And John Caldwell made an open letter to Marina Devine after that horrid article that she put out. And I lifted a quote from it, and it says, "When I walk down the street next time and someone sneers and mutters gay or fag, which I won't have to wait too long for, I shall think of you and how your opinion affects the lives of so many. Heaven help you if you should ever have a child that turns out to be gay and you have to join them on their journey of pain and heartache. They will suffer for some time so out of their control."
I have to quickly say, though, if someone walked down the street and called me tranny inappropriately, or if I heard someone call you tranny, I would pull them up and correct them. But when someone says,
it's the
Penny's
intent.
gay, I bloody love it. And for me to say, I had a gay night last night, it means I had the best night ever, and that's what I'm trying to do to tranny.
And I understand
is to, like, you know, and I don't think that is a fair comparison, because I will not accept the use of the word tranny negatively, but the use of the word gay positively embraced.
Yeah, it's a conversation that it's worth having, especially when communities like the transgender community have suffered so much over so many years. So we appreciate your time, Indiana. Thanks for coming on the show. And Penny will be at your bingo night, I imagine.
I look forward to seeing you. Legs 11 for you, I'm sure.
And I love how you've toned it down today. It's a bit of a morning look.
Daytime. From Kerry Ann Kennelly's wardrobe.
Gary's a big fan of the show. Careful what you say. All right, thanks for coming on. As we said, now, if you want to join the movement to help wipe out transphobia, or you would like a game of bingo, all you got to do is go to our website for all the details. You're watching Wake Up. We'll be back with more in just a minute.